Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to No More Heroes. I exited out of the game again because I'm obviously taking many breaks in between these super long episodes. So that's why I started there on the toilet instead of starting outside where I paused last time. Yeah, the last episode really highlights just the problem that exists. Interesting, my vehicle didn't respawn when I loaded. I would have thought it would have. It must only respawn if you actually exit out of the whole game instead of simply loading through the menu, which is what I did this time. Yeah, 2 hours to go through a bunch of extra missions, some of which probably not necessary, and collect all the Levikov balls and unlock a bunch of abilities, some of which are useful in the overworld, like running, and seem to be useless outside of the overworld, and some of which seem to be very much just actions that you might take when you're fighting people, but then wouldn't really use in the overworld or even in the submissions. We do have money now to pay the entry fee to take on the next enemy. That all being said, I don't know if it in any way, there's a Grasshopper Manufacturer logo again, so that they really are not hiding it at all. It's just straight up out there. Yeah, I can't imagine it really makes the game better to have 2 hours of busy work. The main criticism of this game was the busy work and the side jobs.
Can you hear me? It's crazy over here. No time to explain. I'll send details over snail mail. Gotta run.
What the hell's going on over there? Jeez, don't leave me hanging, honey.
So we're hearing just like explosions and guns, and she says it is going to be sent over snail mail, which snail mail would literally mean like an envelope, which why would you send the details that way unless she's just screwing with you? And I suspect she is kind of screwing with you. Dear Travis, the next ranker is one dangerous dude, but there's no going home now. Is this written by the French lady? I think her name is Jean, but I don't even know if I caught it. You've set foot on the path of a real man. No amount of tears can wash that choice away. Now hurry to the subway, get on the train, and find him waiting. Put your life on the line. And it's not even signed. So, almost certainly, we are going to go to this point down here where there was a subway entrance just arbitrarily in this open world, when it really would have made decent sense for it for the game to not have an open world. And I'm gonna have to just reiterate that, like, most people probably when at the time wouldn't have criticized this game for having an open world and being that overly ambitious, although I definitely will now in retrospect. But it is really the core of where most of the problems of this game come from, is that they were super ambitious to add an open world, and by adding the open world element, then they had to justify the existence of the open world. And that's where you run into problems in general with a lot of games or projects in general, is that somebody has an idea. The idea on the core and the face of it is not a terrible idea, so people get behind it. Often it is just somebody is a good pitch person, and so they can pitch their idea to their friends and their coworkers very well. And then the whole team gets behind it and they actually make the idea, and there wasn't really a reason for the idea to have existed in that specific project in the first place. Yeah. It can also be a case where the idea is good, but the idea had several stages or steps to it that it needed to support it. Like, if this game had roaming enemies, if there were battles just randomly happening in the open world, then yes, the idea of an open world in this type of game makes sense. But without that supportive second thought, it is kind of ridiculous.
Come and get some.
So now we're taking on Destroy Man, who sounds like a wrestler. And this subway seems to me like it is going to be the location in which we fight people. So it's another dungeon. Effectively, that is what this is each of these levels are dungeons that are extremely linear. There's the grasshopper manufacturer stuff. What's this one's? Bear Hug Film Studio. That's crazy. I really wonder if maybe some of the artists, maybe Suda51 himself, isn't a little leaning too much in doing the magic mushrooms or doing drugs or something like that, because this is beyond just being weird for weirdness sake. It is really hitting a level of being just bizarre. This is interesting here. You have the female bathroom not blocked, but then the male bathroom is blocked. Both doors unopenable. Yeah. I don't think the game would be particularly better if you could open doors. The game possibly would be better if you could jump. But there is clearly a lot of barriers in this game.
Sweet.
Like way too many barriers. Way too many doors that feel like you're just being denied a gameplay experience that could have been more open world or just more varied. See, obviously what they want you to do is get on the train, and you're going to fight on the train, but if you're going to have multiple platforms that are numbered like this, it would potentially make sense to have some, like, broken, blown up platforms, so you would have to go upstairs to a level, fight your way through a level, come back downstairs, then wrap around. Yeah, that's what I would do. I would break up this platform and just have it falling apart, have construction damage happening. And then the big final fight should be on the train. As this is set up, it feels like you're not even going to fight any minions at all, which maybe you don't. I wouldn't be surprised if we are getting to a point where several of these assassin characters are just not going to have minions. But then that would eliminate your warm-up, and it would just mean that the boss fight in general would be very long. So now, we do have minions. They're in a military garb.
You're a
I guess you can't really have non-minion fights anyways, because then you couldn't do the slot machine thing, which the slot machine concept is introduced so early, and it really does just come off like it would be something that you would expect to be in all fights and isn't in all fights. If the slot machine element had been in all fights in the open world, then you would have created a situation where you could have the game cheat in your favor and give you like extra gold rewards. But yeah, obviously this is incredibly repetitive to just go through different cars. And it's a little surprising that you wouldn't have just ended up having your final fight in the subway car. That obviously is also not a Japanese subway car. There is definitely some weirdness around Suda51's games in that he does have this kind of, I guess you might call it reverse Orientalism concept, where he thinks America is cool from what he's seen in like Hollywood movies and depictions of America, instead of speaking a story that would be more in line with Suda51's own Japanese culture and experience. When you compare this to, say, like Death Stranding, a game that came out many decades later, at least in Death Stranding you have a game that is in a completely fantasy world. It is still set in America with Hollywood actors, and so there is this America is cool, America actors are cool that Kojima obviously has a feeling for. But he created in Death Stranding a futuristic sci-fi world that definitely feels a lot more like a post-apocalyptic world you would see in an anime than this is. This is only a few degrees off of what reality in a New Mexico-like city would be. Yep. And these transition points are weird. Certainly in that they are setting something up. So we are just in a completely different section that obviously at some point would have been connected to the overworld, and instead they chopped it out to have a fight. This looks like it's kind of a warehouse factory area. As we look over here in the hill section, it definitely feels like they just very quickly made some random hills and It doesn't even really feel finished. You have a completely blocked off section. It wouldn't make a lot of sense if you thematically said that the association had a visual logo and they were putting up these barriers and making the dungeons themselves. Then it would totally make sense. If the Assassins Association was just working out in the open, they don't seem like they are particularly a secret society or secret organization. Interesting, you cannot walk on the grass, whereas you've been able to walk on the grass everywhere else. This is Bear Hug Film Studio. Yeah. But it made all the sense in the world to connect this to the open world, but I wouldn't be surprised if the open world of Santa Destroy is literally as much as they could have squeezed into the Wii's memory profile, that there was just not enough graphics RAM or computer RAM to have a larger level. You would think that there would be multiple animations of the loading.
Hey, he's over here!
I move so incredibly slowly when it brings up the prompt to spin, and I have no idea what the deal is with this outfit.
We're trying to kill you.
This is weird because you have like these gun characters that you can't really lock onto because the other people will shoot at you. And let's see if we can move down fast enough while we're still in this mode.
Oh, you don't go to me.
Yep. See, I would have to just assume that there is some kind of Japanese TV show where the actors wear that kind of ridiculous outfit. It would justify the minions all looking like this. Otherwise, it feels like they have gone out of their way to hide the faces of the characters because they didn't want to make more faces, or they didn't want to make different skin tones. Seems like we've probably gotten all the trading cards now. I don't even remember this section. But they're wearing like green outfits to hide their skin. I can't help but assume that this is supposed to be like a statement on like the amount of guns that might exist in the United States, but probably not, because Japanese people kind of think guns are cool. Not all of them are wearing green gloves and like a green suit. Some of them do seem to also have yellow. I suspect, on second thought, that what really it is that these are all supposed to be like very cheap costumes around enemies in like a Power Ranger type show. And Destroy Man is the hero, and these are just the enemies. And like, I'm taking massive amounts of damage. I totally made a mistake here by playing on medium difficulty in this game. And yeah, you're not even going to get a hint in this case. So that's just starting everything over again. Yeah. The only thing I can think to do would be to slowly take on enemies. Because you don't really have a build-up of any sort. Yeah, so either slowly build up against the enemies and take on a couple on at a time, which stops you from having chains, or be way better at dodging. That would be the other option, I guess.
Cranberry chocolate sundae. What you talking about?
There you go.
You think you can beat me with that? That the best you got?
Me. I'm hitting the wrong button, so it's not working. It's interesting that that broke you out of that mode. So yeah, it seems like it's very possible, if there is even a New Game Plus element in this game, which I think there is, at some point you will just have a perfect deflect or dodge of like gun attacks. Doing a wrestling move at that point. Yeah, I don't... Wrestling moves get them on the ground, I guess, but they don't really solve the problem of eliminating people quickly. Yeah. And obviously I'm having to go pretty quiet here as I'm working through all of this. Like, I can't really focus and talk at the same time, which is bad content creation, certainly. a lot of them screaming my spleen very often. But there's like no health refill up here or anything like that. Yeah, this one guy running away, I guess, makes him somewhat of a helpful enemy, but not really that much of a helpful enemy. And you definitely want to hit the Y button right after you take on a wrestling move, because that will always stab somebody in the ground. So my only hope here is that I hit a checkpoint, because if I'm not hitting a checkpoint in this next section, then I'm going to die, and I guess I could find maybe some health here, and that might help me a little bit. A lot of games have spawn locations for extra health all over the place, and then the game will know if you're at low health, and then it will spawn in that health spot. In this game, I suspect everything is hard-coded in such a way that the health is always in that one spot, and it is always available for pickup. Yeah. I don't know if I should be pressing X more. It's not really coming off as something where I should be pressing X more. You see, that only killed one guy, even though there was two right next to each other. Come on. Line up so I can actually hit this guy. Well, it doesn't seem like I can hit this guy, so what I should do is go up here and see if there's somebody else I can kill quickly. It definitely feels like this is maybe just a full-on you've gotta dodge them type enemy, because yeah, you have something different here. What in the world is that? So yeah, you're getting just wrecked with people shooting you and super strong sword attacks.
Hey Travis, your next ranked battle is at the filming
Subtitles
studio.
seem to be turned
Win,
off.
and you'll be 7th. Lose,
and you're dropping down to an even deeper circle of hell. So, how are you feeling, Travis? Your head feeling better? Relieved yourself lately? Maintaining proper oral hygiene? When you're ready, step inside. Some people say it's important to know when to give up. That you shouldn't aim for things that are obviously beyond your grasp. But ignore idiots like that. Don't accept defeat before the first punch has even been thrown. Hello? Anybody home? Did you even hear what I just said? And you call yourself an assassin? This is why third rates like you are hopeless. I am 120% certain you are going to die. All you can do is trust your force and head for the Garden of Madness.
So yeah, I think there's an achievement for listening to all these phone calls. In that case, I don't think there really was a way to avoid it. Yeah, I have no idea what glitches here that turns off the subtitles. Either just like exiting out of the game and then relaunching does that, or something else does it. Fairly obviously, something's causing it to mess up, and that's unexcusable, really. That's just bad programming. It would be better to error and have the subtitles turned on by default than to have them go off. Particularly if you are absolutely deaf, because then you would have expected that the subtitles were on, and then you would have thought the game had just frozen up in that whole section, or something weird was happening. Travis, remember now, the most fundamental among fundamental suplexes made famous in Calgary. It's the all-natural amusement machine, the German suplex, MS. Is there a way to actually see the trading cards? No. There was a couple of things I wanted to point out in this menu while we're looking at it, in that the date format is weird. Today is not the first day of the 5th month, which is if you were using slashes and you were advertising this game to people in the United States, you would assume it was month, day, year. It's instead using a format of day, month, year, which is somewhat more popular in like South America and Europe, but not super popular, particularly when you're using slashes instead of like dots. There are a lot of different date formats certainly out there, or ways to list dates that causes a lot of confusion. The other thing that's weird about this menu is that it definitely feels like there is room for a third metric on top of health and electricity. There's just enough squares there that you would expect that something else would unlock. I'm not sure that something ever does unlock. And yeah, the joke of having these lovingly created toilets all over the place is kind of funny, but almost certainly they paid 3D modelers and animators too much to make the inside of toilets that really is just artwork that would never get used in any other game. Plus, if they really were gonna move towards that being a bigger thing, you would have expected there to be more toilets and more checkpoints, and checkpoints also being save points. And it makes sense to save a second time, just overwriting the save because I still need more health. I mean, right here you can even see the difference here. Instead of animating the inside of one toilet, how about animating a full pizza instead of just a slice of pizza that would always restore 100% of your health? Or just having all the health maximize your all health upgrades, maximize your health to the total amount. Makes sense to once again save at this point because we don't want to go through the whole setup a second time when we inevitably die. And I would say we basically learned through the fights getting to this point that this enemy is going to be shooting at us, and I don't know if we really learned anything from the fights on the subway. They definitely feel like the subway fights are were just extra, something that would have been in a different level, probably would have ended up cut content otherwise. This whole game has a feeling of that movie The Warriors, where it's these crazy different types of gangs all fighting. They did eventually, I think, make a Warriors game a few years ago, of 2023, but it didn't come out to much fanfare. The only other thing I could take from this is that I probably need to dodge this guy's attacks.
Oh, man. I thought I wouldn't make it here on time. Had to take care of some customers that filed complaints. My apologies. So much to do with so little help. Yeah, I can't
The whole camera is
stand
shaking.
these people with all their nonsense complaints. They think they can just say anything. It's crazy. But anyway, I'm here. I made it on time. That's the important thing, right? I take it you're Mr. 8?
You? You're ranked?
Not me. Well, actually it is me.
Oh, that makes sense.
Never mind then. You've got a job to do. But first I need some time to get ready. Would you mind turning the other way? I need some privacy.
Privacy?
Yes. I need to prepare.
Whatever. Don't mind me. Pretend I'm not even here.
I just need you to look the other way for a second.
A second.
Yes, just a split second. I don't think it's too much to ask. Deal?
Then
So,
we can get on with our fight.
He's like a
That is correct.
postman,
All right.
and then he's going to
Ah!
transform into a superhero.
Oh, damn it. Whoa, that was close. For a second there, I forgot that you were a killer.
Sorry if I scared you. I didn't mean to do that. Something's wrong with me today.
I let my guard down, getting sloppy. I gotta stay on my toes.
You mind if I ask you something?
Yeah, what is it, Mr. Cosplay?
We're both assassins, right? Why do we have to kill each other anyway? If you ask me,
Weird way to
it's absolutely
pronounce
meaningless.
cosplay.
It's about determining who's best. That's what it's about.
Can't argue with that. Well then, let's get started.
What? You want to shake hands?
We're both fighters, aren't we? Not killers, at least for now. This is a sign of sportsmanship, that we respect each other before and after the fight. Good luck.
Likewise.
Destroy Spark.
So this guy is definitely cheating all over the place.
Oh, this is great. Is this guy an idiot or what? Is this a joke? You fell for the oldest trick in the book. Oh man, you are something. Oh, this is the best. Man, you really cracked me up. I think this laughter's gonna kill me. Seriously, I think I might really die.
And see, with this much cutscene, you would think that you might not even fight the guy, but it would kind of suck if you didn't fight the guy.
Oh shit.
If you didn't fight this guy, then there would need to be somebody else that you would fight instead.
And look at you. You look like you're dead. I guess it's time for a wake-up call. Destroy power! Destroy beam! This is where it gets good. Good night.
I guess the reoccurring joke here is that he's just getting knocked around like crazy, almost in a cartoony-like way.
That was quite a move. I'll admit you've got potential. If challenge had a taste, you'd be quite
it feels
delicious.
like the dramatic elements
yeah, sure. Bring it on.
should
I
happen
love a
in these
challenge.
fights, and comedic elements should happen in more of the open world side missions.
You're as good as dead.
Alright. So he has an area of effect that I see a health, I see an energy. He has a lot of energy and health. You really are gonna have to like dodge in 2 rolls, it seems like, to get away from him. Like the thing is, it seems if you don't get the timing right, then right, he was probably should have done a wrestling move there. His announcements of his attacks is not helpful as it would seem because the destroy part is said every time. Interesting, we triggered something now. Okay. So we have more of a gimmick now that we have to do. Problem here is that we've got to now lock on these and try to get him to hit them. And see, if you couldn't really lock on to these, then you couldn't dodge at all. I have no idea how I'm supposed to get him to hit that though, because he's just like not in the right position. So there's just like this. Let me ask this. Maybe I'm supposed to just hit it, yeah. Okay. Alright.
Come and get some, punk. Destroy me! Destroy me!
Yeah, I don't know how. Like, I really just don't know how you're gonna do enough damage on this guy. Like, yeah, I really just don't see how you take this guy out. Like, I'm both not hitting him and running out of energy and taking a lot of damage. And I really am at a point where I would like to just change the difficulty, but I don't think there's a way to do it. It doesn't seem like there's a way to do it. Destroy Man unleashes an attack that cannot be guarded. Use the evade right stick with left trigger to get out of the way. Yeah, that's not super helpful information at all. Yeah, I don't know how I'm supposed to dodge that. Like, I'm trying left. Like, it seems like you're supposed to just kind of run instead. Which maybe that is most of this, is that you really should just run. It really does not feel like there's supposed to be any real combinations happening here, as much as you're just supposed to mash the A button, the Y button. And that would make sense, really, but if it was originally a Wii game, but it kind of does not make any sense at all in converting it. Like, see, this guy is just not going to work his way. He's not going to work his way away from the corner. Yeah. It does kind of feel like maybe there is a trick to doing a bit of a combo once he starts blocking. If you start to hear the clang, you should probably press X, then B, then A, and just see if that helps. So the move here is to attack these things as they are. We'll take the extra. Takes the extra attack there. Lock on in. We'll take the extra health. But most of his attacks clearly are not dodge attacks as much as they are just run away attacks. See, yeah, and the problem here is he just won't walk out of that area. So if you've knocked him into a corner, he can't attack you. You can attack him, I guess. It might be worth it to like just cheese it and have him in a corner. Yeah, I don't know if we're really hurting him that much though. Yeah, let's see if we can get around here and get him to move. Yeah, and I'm just wearing down my health. Wrestling move to help. I might win here if I'm careful, but nope. So, like every enemy we fought, we have died several times for, and I can't help but think maybe the game is being a little bit generous, but it is not being super generous at all. And a single slice I could have done a wrestling move there. There we got the time open. He's just gonna laugh at me, I guess. Like, I really need to get the wrestling moves down. But I wouldn't dare attack the guy while he is doing the destroy beam. So I am just like waiting. And clearly he'll just do damage to you. Main move here is to attack these, and when you hear destroy cannon. Why did he fall at that point? Interesting. Why did he fall on the second one instead of the first one? Alright. That was my mistake. at that point, you probably should just need to stop locking on him. And run away. You can see there's a wire on him, so he isn't actually capable of flying. But that was fairly obvious that was the case. The wrestling move seems to always be the same prompt. So I guess you know why this guy's name is Destroyer Man. And there definitely feels like there is a Power Ranger type influence here. Or this type of Sentai, I think is what they're called, shows. I'm just gonna go ahead and take the health now. Obviously my timing is on the dodge here is just really bad. If I was getting the exact perfect dodging and getting the slowed down time actions, I would have probably won by now. And when you're about to win, that seems to be when they do the crazy attacks. Wrestling move, maybe for the victory. Not quite. The fact that he's stuck behind this desk is helping. That he was supposed to just kind of roll there, I think.
Don't cry like that. You're a killer, aren't you?
And killing this guy makes a lot of sense.
Help!
What?
Help!
I can't hear you.
Help me! Please!
What is this I hear from a 7th ranked killer? Whatever. It's over anyway.
Please! Help me!
There you go.
So he was trying to do one final trick with nipple guns, and it didn't work. Yeah, suffice it to say, this is just getting really frustrating with each of these fights. So you're running into the scenario where you have a frustrating experience in the main story part of the game, and then you have to go in open world and have a somewhat frustrating experience. I would heavily recommend playing this game on easy first time. Even if you've played the game many years ago, playing it on easy seems like it makes a lot of sense, and then playing it on hard on a new game plus maybe makes some more sense at that point. We're starting here with 180,000 LBs. When we're done, we're probably going to need 275 to 300,000 LBs as an entrance fee. Clear time was 51 minutes and 58 seconds, which gives me rank C, which that's pathetic. The number of enemies we killed was just 43. The amount of damage we took, maybe that is better, because we were up in the 200s before, and that got me to rank B. We also got a max chain of 5, which gave us 5,000 extra LBs, and potentially that implies that in the previous missions I've done, I haven't gotten max chains that are very high, and that's why I haven't gotten that reward. We didn't get a 777, which seems to be rarer than it seemed like it would have been. Alright. We break that, and we get money and our vitality increased. And so this guy is chopped in half. These other bodies didn't play any role at all. You would assume he was actually an actor too, but it is kind of weird that he would be a postman and an actor, or maybe it was an actor pretending to be a postman as a secret identity of a superhero. Here we can see our femme fatale lady just sitting there. The guys seem to always show up, but they're never loaded in.
You are now 7th in rank.
Hey, when I hit number 1, you better be looking your best.
No need to pretty up. I want you to see me for who I really am.
Serious? Damn.
So he's just like hitting on her. Sometimes the lines of dialogue come off as like he's playing it cool and doesn't care about her. Sometimes he comes off as he's definitely hitting on her. There's definitely an implication that she could be the number 1 ranked assassin, or that you would end up fighting her for some other reason, or that you would end up fighting the 2 guys with the guns. Travis Touchdown. Touchdown's a kind of sounds like an American name to a Japanese person, but really isn't an American name, obviously. And he doesn't actually play football or soccer, so if it was a made-up name for himself, it doesn't make the most amount of sense. We'll just cycle over to this and save here.
This is Diane from Beefhead Videos. Just calling to let you know that the video you reserved is here. Title is How to Please a Woman in Bed 101 Part 3. Oh, one of the girls here said that you might need a new pillow cover for this one. You know, just for protection. Thank you.
Congratulations, Mr. Touchdown. Your registration for the 7th UAA rank is now complete. As always, we have faxed you some information about the rankings in case you wish to continue your ascent. Please transfer the money into the designated account as soon as possible. Thank you, and have a nice day.
So, it's 300,000 is what we need. We now have something connected to the ceiling fan spinning around, which I guess that implies that the room is just evolving with each person you beat. There's nothing new we really would have here. I did notice something kind of interesting in the fact that there's now a mask, like a GIMP mask in this drawer that wasn't there before. So the room does seem like it's evolving with more decorations. The bathroom does not seem to have a shower, and that would be fairly Japanese, to have like a Japanese apartment that does not have a shower or bathtub in it. Yeah. It does just kind of feel like the idea here is that there should be more comedy to balance out the violence, or no comedy. Oh, there is a bathtub. It just was not being depicted in that cutscene. It's just on the other side of the room. So yeah, we are getting an increased number of masks as we collect the cards. So it is like for every one card you get, there's a mask somewhere in your room. This one was under the bed. I thought for a second I may have missed one of these collectibles, but it would still be very hard to miss any of the cards. It does kind of look like Jean has a new toy.
Meow.
Let's see. But yeah, this is really not a, even if the room is evolving, it's not going to evolve into something amazingly different. It'll just have a little bit of an evolution. The overworld, on the other hand, I really question if there's anything that's going to evolve too much from this. We should just check the map. Yeah. Seems to me like now we have hit that point where there is no new collectible, there's no new items. I will go to the Beefhead video and see if there's a new tape. I will go to the gym and upgrade the gym, and then
how's business?
I'll go to the shop and buy a bunch of costumes. Also, I need to upgrade my weapons.
Come back again.
Yeah, I guess the wrestling moves are very linear. That would be my assumption as to how this plays out, is that once you unlock a new wrestling move,
Whoa!
you at that point will do more damage when you do activate the wrestling moves. But in that previous fight, activating an extra wrestling move didn't happen but once or twice, and they definitely weren't devastating
it's you.
reductions in health. What, the new model? Dumbass Otaku. What's it look like? Of course it's not done yet. Alright. So there's no new upgrade that we can get here.
You otaku.
Yeah. There are, I believe, 4 more t-shirts in this open world to find. And a lot of opportunity to waste a lot of time to look for them. So it is going to mostly just boil down to wandering around to accomplish the other goals.
Huh? What? Sweet.
Yeah, that probably makes it 3 t-shirts left to find. And it's absolutely not worth it to look for trash cans that would just have money in them. Like, getting 20,000 is not worth the time to look for it compared to just doing an assassination mission.
I know.
We are still getting minimal upgrades because we increase our strength, and I definitely feel like it would be pretty impossible again, I'm just gonna look down at the screen and start tapping A before it even says go. Theoretically, because your strength is higher, this should be easier, but I'm not sure that really is the way this works. And this really is just not fun gameplay. Over the years, the momentum towards reducing the number of buttons needed to be pressed to complete more and more complicated actions has made video games certainly easier, but also way more enjoyable. Like, I don't really want to have a one-to-one simulation of many actions in video games. I don't want it to become completely passive like movies, or very minimally interactive like visual novels for most games. But there is really no reason to have people mash the A button when you could instead have QuickTime events, which was basically what got evolved after games like this, where they did just introduce QuickTime events instead, and now they've gotten rid of a very over-reliance on QuickTime events in favor of just showing a cutscene, or having QuickTime events that literally work no matter what button you press. A lot of games, it'll say press the B button, and if you hit any button on the controller, it'll still consider it a success. It is worth checking it out just to make sure that there's nothing more to do with this bar and the Levikov balls.
Huh? What do you want? Keep practicing.
But yeah, I unlocked like 8 mechanics there by finding the Levikov balls, and the only mechanic I'm actually using is the run mechanic.
What? Sweet. What? Sweet.
So there may be like one more t-shirt to buy or to find in a trash can. Otherwise I may have just found them all at this point. And I don't think it's moving things around so that I do find them. There's just like nothing new here. It's not a new world, it's not a new area. If the game had limited the open world, so you were going into new areas to do new things, and then there were more collectibles in those new areas. If there was just like a circle, which was as far as you could go, then these later chapter sections would make more sense. But that's not how it plays out, so you're gonna just spend less and less time in this overworld.
Come on in, brother.
Which is probably a good move, because the overworld kind of sucks. Definitely feels like some of this some of this content is also just I wonder if this is supposed to be a direct reference to Shazam. It definitely looks like a reference to Shazam. Was there something else that I could have spent money on? So this time you have a t-shirt with boobs on it. There was a zombie game that was what was it called? I don't remember. I'm down to 31 lbs or 3,184 lbs. I guess if I read that correctly. It was a zombie game where you had different t-shirts that you could find, and one of the t-shirts was a very low resolution art piece that had like a bare naked butt or breast or something in the logo on the picture on the t-shirt. And when the game got re-released, they censored out the t-shirt to remove the nudity that had slid by the ESRB censors, at which effectively the ESRB is a censor board, because most storefronts will not carry or sell a product that's not rated by the ESRB or that is rated for adults only by the ESRB in the United States. So that is a level of what you call at least soft censorship. So yeah, in this case they're not going that extreme, and they're showing bikini thongs and bikini top breasted. But I can't really say the t-shirts are cool or the outfit is cool. It would be a nice little feature if you customized your character at the beginning, but there's just no reason to customize what Travis looks like. Yeah. It just makes him come off like he is more of a fashion otaku, which is a phrase probably only the Japanese would use, more than an anime otaku. And since I've spent all the money on outfits and there's still more outfits to buy, then we're gonna have to do one of these missions, but you can tell there's about 6 of these. Fill up cars with gas at the gas station, so they are going to use
for you. Don't forget.
They're going to use the gas station location. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point the open world elements of this game, these little mini games, were going to be in a completely different experience, and the boss fight concepts were going to be in a completely different game, and then they just copy and pasted the two elements together because they are really, really disconnected. Lobster lovers. Even in an open world like this, where you do have a lot of places and locations you could use as relative descriptions of, like go to the gas station, the Luchacho gas station, to find something, you would never really have to use that information like that. It would make way more sense for there to be an online map. Even in the days of websites being almost completely text, you could do an ASCII map of the city before you would really need to describe it in landmark terms. Right. Unspoken rule of Santa Destroyer dictate perseverance. Perseverance leads to money, in which leads to wealth. The world will forever remain closed to those who do not persevere. The god of gasoline is cruel. Lose your perseverance and you'll burn up. That's what perseverance means. So get working. Get working. He's talking a lot of nonsense just to get you to do generic labor things. Press the blank button to pump gas into a car. Again, we have instructions that are just not telling us the right button. Be sure to fill her up just to the right amount.
3, 2,
I'm going to assume that means B button. Alright. I messed that up. Alright. Set myself on fire because I went too far. So all I'm doing is pressing the B button and then releasing the B button at a specific spot. And you can't press the B button too early. And you definitely can press the B button too late. And if I don't get close enough, I'm not getting credit. So you have to go over, I think the line is the main move here. But you can't go all the way full. So when the yellow line is really close to the top, your chances of succeeding are way worse.
Yes.
And you're just going to do this for 2 minutes without any early finish option or anything like that. This is a way, I guess, for them to show off cars if you're looking at the cars, but mostly you would just be focusing in on the bars. The cars, for the time, probably were pretty nicely designed, but by 2023 standards, the textures look awful, and like a more stylized, cartoony animation would last longer. And that's inherently the problem with any type of realistic graphics that you try to have in a game, is that as soon as that next new technique, that next generation of graphics comes out, and you go from 1,000 polygons to 1,100 polygons, everything starts to look old and ugly.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And we haven't really gotten to a point even now where things are vector based as far as models. So there is no simple way to say if a graphics card could handle a more curvy appearance, it could automatically render a more curvy appearance. They are still polygon based in the way that they make the 3D models. Voxels is a phrase that also is being thought about, but every game that uses the phrase voxels looks like a terrible Minecraft ripoff game and doesn't look good. Hey third rater, I've got another job for you. Something a little shadier perhaps, but all work is the same. I've sent my introduction ticket to the association. The road to becoming a first rater is long and hard. Get your butt into gear. There is I guess, a new free fight mission that we could also do. There's something to be said also around the idea of,
hello, Travis.
why can't Travis Touchdown really just be a cool character? Why do they need the comedy to knock him down a peg? That is an interesting, I guess, sociological question. That probably doesn't really have an answer.
May you find your superpower?
Certainly animes like Death Note in particular, where you have a bad guy as the main character, and he is unabashedly the bad guy, and he is depicted as a genius and cool. With that series coming out and a lot of edgelord teenager kids watching Death Note and liking it and being influenced by it, I think Travis Touchdown would have probably been more of a character like that. A unabashed killer. He is already depicted that way, but the kind of pathetic incel character, before even the phrase incel was popularized, that element really doesn't need to exist for him. If this was a movie instead of a video game about an assassin taking out on the other 10 ranked assassins, you know they definitely, the actors would have definitely wanted to look cool and not been a pathetic loser with a comedy bent. Now, if this was a TV series where you needed to fill out some time, maybe at that point I could see the point of the comedy. These guys are super weak. With these guys being super weak, I'm able to get like a 13 chain here. And it looks like these guys are just going to keep on spawning. I don't know how long you have between each kill to try and get a combo. Obviously these guys would have to be fairly weak though, because they're going to have to kill a lot of them. I've killed 34 people so far, so just about a third of 100. And there's really no way to speed up this process by much more. Doing flashes, doing wrestling moves does not make sense. He seems like he always says what when he's losing the spins. And this is the kind of gameplay that risks blistering your fingers because you're just having to press so many buttons and move to the right stick. Like, right stick movements should not be rapid around, like spinning around anyways. Like, it should be when you're using an analog stick that your thumb is very comfortably in the middle of the analog stick the whole time, and you don't pick it up and replace it, because that's really where you start to get the hot spots where you would blister a thumb. In this case, what I'm doing is taking my hands off the face buttons and then bumping the thumbstick, and I can already feel my fingers are starting to get sore from that. And when I need to spin, I just got another achievement for something there. Probably killing over a certain number of people, if I was to guess. We're at 80 now. What's gonna suck here is not that I'm gonna die so much as I am gonna just be scored low because I took too long. 88 now. We're starting to have some of them that are blocking high, whereas everybody up until this point has been not blocking much at all. 94. 95. 96. 97. 98. There should be one more person to kill, and he must be hiding up here. I've got 39 seconds, and where is he? $99 to 100. Yeah, and that's finger blistering to spend 4 minutes and 33 seconds to do that. We get to gold, so we never have to do it again. I assume there is no platinum levels, and if there are platinum levels, obviously you're going to have to just do that in the New Game Plus level. And the real problem now is that if you wanted a break and wanted to do something different, you don't really have anything you can do. You could drive around, I guess, and I guess we'll drive around to this top free mission, but we know when we get to that top free mission, it is going to almost certainly be a challenge that revolves around not taking a single hit of damage. So, yeah. That's not going to be very fun. It does make more sense to simply just take another assassin mission first, since we're walking by.
Welcome.
And the fact that they've unlocked more of these assassination gigs are... I mean, we'll try this, but this is gonna suck.
May you find your copper part?
This highlights that that's really the only content in the game. So yeah, it definitely feels like there has been a better way in which the game could have said, you have to do these assassination gigs first. Forget the mini game stuff. That's all silly. Leave that on the cutting room floor. But once you do the assassination gigs, once whether you succeed or fail at them, that would be the point when then you would be allowed to move the story forward. Other games put that very blatantly and directly in front of the player, and they say you can now just run around and goof off in the open world if you want to, or you can just move the story forward. In this case, since there isn't that much to actually do in the open world, it'd be better if it just forced you to move the story forward. This is going to be annoying because this is the baseball thing. So if I succeed even once, I'm going to call the victory and be done with it. Yeah. It definitely feels like you could take out 3, maybe even 4 people. That just gave me a rank of none. Didn't realize you could get such a low rank, but also that eliminated the opportunity to do it again, so yeah. Unless I get some kind of new weapon that would make it easier to do the baseball things, there is a heavy thought that I won't be able to get gold in every mission, and if I'm not able to get gold in every mission, I won't be able to get every achievement. Steam only highlights games that you get every achievement on, so then there's less motivation to continue to play this game for those extra accomplishments or achievements. There's a lot of posters on the wall here. Let's see if we can look at them. Yeah, a lot of torn up posters. Not anything amazing. Whatever happened to those heroes? There is a bit of a Watchmen vibe to this game, but I wouldn't say there's a significant amount of the Watchmen comic book being copied here. It would make some sense if Travis Touchdown's parents maybe were superheroes at some point, or heroes at some point.
Oh, Travis.
And he's going against that. Okay. So no rank, but I did that. So I guess I'd have to just go back and
May you find
do it again later. I would have thought you would have gotten some kind of rank. It feels lazy, like they didn't want to make an F rank medal. So instead they just created the idea of no rank. Having not played No More Heroes 2 or 3, there is very possibly a lot of improvements and a lot of backstory that I'm not aware of. which is probably for the better that I review and play this game in that vacuum, because if it's difficult or impossible to recommend playing this game in 2023, then it's pointless to then say, but you should totally play the sequels. And I'm not making that judgment yet, and I don't think I really would make that judgment, but I could definitely see the argument being made that you should really just rush through this first game on easy and not try to buy all the collectibles. Right.
You think you can beat me with that?
So they've set this up in such a way that I'm supposed to just kill all of these with the button prompts and the QuickTime events. Which this is just not how the game would ever really play out in most scenarios. Jump attack. Now I do have an increased mode, which would make this dark side battle last longer, or the dark side mode last longer usually, but in this case I think I'm always going to be in dark side mode regardless. So all I'm really needing to do here is go in a kind of interesting circle where there are enough enemies around me so that I can continue to kill them as they're respawning. Yeah, in that case I imagine you might be able to bump it up a little bit more to get to maybe 25, but I don't know if anything would really have sped up that process much more than that, which makes me suspect that maybe there isn't actually a platinum medal and it is just getting gold medal on everything. I wouldn't be surprised if there is actually platinum modes for like a platinum mode that unlocks only when you're playing in New Game Plus mode, assuming there is a New Game Plus mode. Wow, you can get more of a boost than I thought you could. Yeah, it kind of would make sense if you had an unlockable platinum mode that could only be achieved on a second playthrough. But there's still really just not enough in this game to justify a second playthrough. We've been down here? Yes, we have. If there was one place where I would have missed some trash cans, it almost certainly would be in this high north area. There is a real question as to why there needs to be a difference as far as these free fight missions versus the assassination gig missions. It would make more sense that they were all just free fight missions. Say single hit, kill everybody, don't take a single hit of damage. Same old missions. Slight issue, I would say, in that yeah. I'm assuming none of these are people that shoot guns. Yeah. It kind of feels like you get a gold on these if you just beat it. Right. Yeah. And like twice now, I've been hit by that guy, so I guess we're supposed to dodge because blocking's not working. And it does seem like pressing Y on these guys is acceptable. And we don't have to just hit X to stun them. So you... wait. And then attack.
He's over here! Hey, you!
Wow, I got lucky there on that one. Right.
I'm gonna kill you!
Right. Slowly, carefully pull an enemy away. I got lucky there. I should have tried to dodge that. Just pull another enemy away. I had to really work to get that one. Come on. I don't think we're gonna spawn in any more enemies. So he could have hit me there, but he missed. Careful. Just be as careful. I can't be careful anymore. I'm out of time. So not only can you not be careful, you've got to really risk it and move faster. Which this definitely makes an argument that you shouldn't really bother to do these missions. Yeah. So this puts you in a quagmire, certainly. We have about 40,000 gold LBs short of what we want. So the best move would be to head just back to the Assassination Guild and let's see, can we jump? Nope. But that does, I guess, get us to fast travel to the motel quickly. So There's a little bit of a cheat there.
Hello, Travis.
So, because we spent so much money on everything, we should just do something again. This probably isn't the worst one to do a second time.
May you find your poker card?
Undoubtedly, the game should just have given me all of the money I needed after I had done the second of the 2 new assassination missions. We are now deep into just repeating content. And driving around a boring, empty city. I guess there is a high chance you would be rolling in cash if you hadn't bought any of the outfits at all. But you still would have had to have done all the missions. What would be incredibly frustrating is if you didn't get extra money from this. Because then that would... There would basically mean you could only make money by doing the free stuff. The problem with modes like this is you're just gonna look for the button prompt and hope to hit the right button. Otherwise, he's gonna taunt if you hit the wrong button, and then that's going to slow things down. You have all these like execution mode moves, and you would expect that they would be used in the actual fighting instead of all being locked in this like dark side mode.
That the best you got?
It all feels a little slow. Like it feels like the button prompts should come up instantaneously with no delay, and that you should be able to hit them as soon as you can see them. And it should probably jump you to the next target in this mission in particular, instead of having to walk around and get it within a range. This, I guess, is by far my best choice, or my favorite mission that we've unlocked. Minute 30, I actually did less kills this time and got 63,000 LBs, which puts us in the perfect spot now. I guess the question is, if I ran this way and did this, I can't jump into the water. So there are limited places where you could find to respawn yourself to get back to the motel, which is where we want to go. it would be interesting, I suppose, if the buildings exploded as the story progressed, and that the Santa Destroy as a city became more of an open parking lot where you could drive in straight lines and didn't have to follow the roads. Like, in a story in a world like this, that makes enough sense, whereas that wouldn't make the most sense in most games. Although, in general, all I'm really suggesting is that there should be shortcuts, and if there should be shortcuts, you also have the better suggestion of just having fast travel. Yeah. I'm not sure that there is a single trash bin that we haven't found. We may very well have found them all, and we will find that out as we go to this point. And see, this is another 2-hour episode, but we, in this process, have fought an entire boss.
Are you coming? Not like I am waiting for you or anything.
And we've gone through the whole open world sections. So, what once was closer to 4 hours has become just 2 hours of content between main story and side quest stuff. Alright, so we have different sunglasses. We'll just change sunglasses for no reason. We have different jackets, which I still like the red jacket. It's way more iconic. And a slightly red jacket compared to a deep red jacket isn't really that much of a change. As far as t-shirts go, we could wear one of these Moe Anime Girl out t-shirts, which were the most expensive. We have everything up to 20, I'm fairly certain, and everything up to 28. And we know that there are more t-shirts to buy at the store, which very well is 29 to 60. As far as 61, we have everything from 61 to... we may have them all at this point. All the open world stuff. Yeah, we're missing 96. There's one t-shirt in trash can out there that we've missed. Unless I missed a count here. Yeah, it does seem to me like we are missing one t-shirt in the open world. And I could easily go online to figure out what that is. We also know that there's about 32 more t-shirts that can be purchased. We also know that there's at least a couple more jeans and a couple more belts that can be purchased as far as outfits go. The entire room is evolving. We can't buy a new weapon yet, which I imagine once we do get a new weapon, we would have a better experience. Yeah, we've been to a lot of these locations, and we kind of know each of these exclamation points is probably where a fight is going to take place, and so we're not expecting anything new as far as storefronts go. No, let's actually look at the mission results. We have, I guess, no mission result for the mission that just unlocked, which that's a little bit of a problem in that there can obviously now be missions that I may just never finish. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not happy that some of these assassination gigs are being counted against me when they are asking me to do things that are different. We did buy this video volume 2, Living Legend Thunder Ryu. You have to actually watch it. So now we have a new pro move. The refrigerator, I don't think really evolves in any way. There's some containers back there on the shelf. I wonder if those are supposed to be containers full of, like, I don't know, Magic the Gathering cards or something like that. They're square and they don't have any indication on them as to what they would be
hungry?
for.
There.
I don't know if it makes a lot of sense to have him have a cat as a pet. I don't think it really is the goal of this game to make Travis Touchdown really be a likable person at all. So why give him humanizing, likable characteristics? Alright, well, I still am seeing a lot of lighting problems too, and I bet that wasn't in the original version of the game, that they tried to improve the lighting and the graphics in the game when they ported it to PC or when they ported it to the Xbox 360 and other consoles. Yeah. There is just nothing here in the map to really talk about or say anything about. Yep. Next battle will be much like the last battle, in which I'm sure it has some kind of gimmick and you just have to be really good at dodging and attacking. I don't know if there really are a new collection of moves that you would have to learn or anything like that. You may just, going forward, have to get better and better at dodging and attacking using the existing moveset. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.